us Indians, cricket is an emotion. It is so deep rooted in ourselves that sometimes we feel that it is religion.
Well, whether it is Dhoni winning us the 2011 World Cup or it is Yuvraj batting despite vomiting blood on the ground, cricket has shown us both happy as well as sad moments.
But yes, cricket is incomplete without injuries. And so, this can really hamper a sportsman's entire career.
With the environment buzzing with cricket fever, with the ongoing World Cup, let us highlight some of the injuries sustained to sportsmen due to cricket. Hi everyone, I am Dr. Shivang.
And I'm Dr. Kanika, and welcome back to Dr. Duo. Before we begin with the video, I would like to welcome Dr. Shivang. Was back on the channel after almost 6 to 7 months. And इतने लोगों ने कमेंट किए कि कहाँ है शिवांग के साथ वीडियो बनाओ.
Hey I am guys, back.
तो इस वीडियो को बिना शेयर करे, लाइक करे, कमेंट करे and also subscribe करे, you cannot go anywhere.
And let's keep the cricket fever going. I myself am a big cricket fan.
First, Anil Kumble. Who doesn't know him? So Anil Kumble, during the tour, India tour to Caribbean, was struck on his jaw by Merv Dillon in the Antigua Test match, and this took him to have a broken jaw. So a broken jaw is also called as a mandibular fracture. Mandible is the bone which makes the lower jaw, and so he had to face that fracture.
And once a mandible is fractured, there can be lots of symptoms ranging from loss of voice because of the swelling, then bleeding from the mouth, vomiting, and you can also find a lump inside the mouth. It totally depends on the severity of the fracture.
And obviously, most common being pain and swelling.
Exactly. And the treatment also totally depends on the severity. The most common side of the fracture of the mandible is the angle of the mandible, and it totally depends on the direction of the fracture. Well, maybe it may require wires, immobilization, internal fixation, or if the fracture is minute, it can be treated with rest, painkillers, and some soft tight.
Second, I am pretty sure everyone's favorite, Virat Kohli. So now Virat Kohli also suffered an injury while catching a ball. So it was like a diving catch, and he had to face split webbing. So now what is split webbing? These are your two fingers and they just split, and there's a skin rupture in between, causing a lot of damage and pain. So most commonly it is the thumb and the index finger which is involved, but it can involve any other side as well.
So since this area is so sensitive, the main symptom of this is severe pain, and if the split is exaggerated, it may require stitches.
And also symptomatic treatment like NSAIDs, like anti-inflammatories or pain relieving drugs are required.
And the main thing is it tends to reoccur, which makes it very uncomfortable for the batsman.
Next, very unfortunate incident, and I feel every cricket lover knows, Phillip Hughes. So during the match, there was a bouncer ball which hit his unprotected neck, which caused massive hemorrhage of blood into the brain. He was rushed to the hospital, but within few days he died. He collapsed at the age of 25 years only.
Well, brain bleed, also called as brain hemorrhage, it's of various type. It may be extradural, intradural, intraparenchymal. I'm not going to go into details of it, but Phillip Hughes suffered from intraparenchymal bleed, which is one of the most dangerous type of bleeds. Usually, if it is traumatic, patients don't survive for weeks or even months. And even if they tend to survive, they have some of the disabilities which may last for lifelong, which can include paralysis, or loss of sensation, or maybe hemiparesis. So it's a very dangerous condition.
So in together, it just takes the life. Either it will take your life completely or will help lead a very disabled or a handicapped life. Next, Vermeulen. So he was a member of Zimbabwe cricket team, and during the match, the bouncer hit him right above his eye, which led to a hairline fracture of his skull.
Well, skull fracture is break in the continuity of the skull bones. It may range from very mild symptom to severe symptoms, which can range from seizures, convulsion, coma, death, nausea, vomiting, everything you can imagine. And fractures are of various types. Again, I'm not going to go into details, but the most dangerous is depressed fracture. Because if the fracture is depressed, it will continuously impinge your brain, irritate it, and lead to seizures. Well, since he had suffered from hairline fracture, it was not that severe. And another interesting fact is that he had suffered head injuries thrice, in which he had suffered fracture twice, but he still ended his career successfully.
And last very severe injury was Mark Boucher. He was a member of South Africa and had to end his cricket career. So all that happened was the bail of the stump hit his left eye, which led to corneal laceration.
Well, corneal laceration is a laceration in that surface of the cornea, and it's a very, very serious and a dangerous injury. Because if your cornea gets lacerated, there can be symptoms which can actually range from mild infection to vision loss. And if there's a vision loss, it can certainly destroy your life. Well, it requires immediate surgery, because if surgery is not done, it will lead to infection. And once your eye infected, it can also lead to a brain infection. Secondly, it requires surgery because there can be some foreign body which is left inside the eye which has to be removed. Some cases, which is very required, can be treated with just medical management and symptomatic treatment by preventing dryness of the eye and all. But this is very rare. It usually requires surgery.
Undoubtedly, cricket is an emotion and every Indian love watching it, especially India versus Pakistan, isn't it? But we need to be careful with injuries like these, and everyone, be it a person playing cricket or any sport, if ever goes through any injury, shouldn't take it lightly, but visit a doctor who can treat them accordingly.
While these cases are very severe ones, there have been cases in which the injuries were ignored because the symptoms initially were very less. But since they were not attended immediately, later on they proved to be very, very harmful. So even if your symptoms are minute, just go and visit a doctor, because you may suffer from something which you might not know.
So yeah, this is it for today's video. I really hope that you like this video, and if you do not forget to share, like and subscribe to our channel. Let's make this the biggest medical community ever. Bye
Bye guys.